listen up, Timaru. Hey, this is our second episode, and it's actually our first one in this new studio. So, welcome everyone to the new studio. And tonight we have Oscar Smith. Thank you for joining me, brother.
Oh man, thanks for having me.
Now, Oscar and I met at the Modern Barbarians men's group that I help facilitate here at South Zealandia. And yeah, we do all right in our men's group, don't we?
Yeah, no, we do pretty good.
Yeah,
Awesome, to be honest.
I
Yeah.
think like last week we had 13 men at the men's group, so
Solid.
it's sort of growing, isn't it? And
It
like
is.
you're away at the moment with antenatal classes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you'll be back when that's all over.
Can't wait to get back into it, man. Yeah, no, love it.
Nice. Yeah. So firstly, bro, I want to tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you from?
Yeah, so look, I'm originally from Auckland. Born and raised in Auckland. Yeah, just came down here about 3 years ago. What was it, late 2021?
Mm.
So yeah, going on 3 years here in Timaru. But yeah, spent pretty much all my life in Auckland. It was a pretty interesting childhood growing up.
Mm.
You know, growing up in Auckland and the big smoke. It's a lot different to, obviously, living down here in Timaru, little wee Timaru, just
What brought you to Timaru?
So basically, we came down here for a holiday not long after the first COVID lockdown,
Oh,
which was a few years back now. Only really felt like yesterday, didn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, came down here. I'd not long been with my missus that I'm with now, and I wanted to introduce her to my family down here. So yeah, we came down here, and it was Cindy, my partner. It was her first time, coming down to Timaru, and she loved it. I think what really attracted her the most was the house prices, and she'll tell her, she'll tell you that herself.
Yeah.
She was just sort of blown away by just how cheap it was down here. But
house prices in Auckland are
yeah,
phenomenal,
exactly. Anywhere is cheap compared to Auckland. And I mean, like we were talking about, buying a house, when we were up there, but we just knew that it just wasn't realistic.
Yeah, I was up there. I was up there a couple of years ago with a friend of mine, and he lives in Westgate.
Yeah, which is it's
getting
up there.
Yeah, and he actually rents over in Westgate, so I have no idea what sort of rental price he pays.
It'd be quite a lot.
But we were sort of driving through his neighbourhood, and he's not quite flash houses. They're pretty nice houses.
Yeah.
And I said to him, bro, how much for one of these? What are one of these sort of costs? He goes, you're looking at between 3 and 5 million.
Yeah.
I was like,
easy.
Are you for real? Are you for real? Like I said to him, bro, if you spend that kind of money in Timaru, bro, you'll get the house, the hectares, the cows,
easy,
the Ranger, the tractor, and probably still some change.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I couldn't believe
it. It's real eye-opening, eh?
Because, admittedly, the houses were really, really nice, but you could literally put your hand out the window and pat your neighbour on the head.
Yeah.
That's how close together they
were. The land that comes with the house up there, even though it's worth millions, it's not a lot. Like the land, you get bugger all land, which is just how it is in Auckland. And it's getting worse. I think I grew up in Ellerslie, which is sort of like central East Auckland, and I'd say your average house price when I was growing up there, like my teenage years, would have been probably maybe 300,000, 400,000, which is probably what the average house price of, a place in Timaru now. And now, Ellerslie, your average house price would be up around the million, if not over. Wow. Some houses even 2 million, depending on what view you get.
Unreal.
Some areas of Ellerslie, you can get a good view of like
Rangitoto Island and all that. Where is that?
So it's so you've got, where Newmarket is?
Yeah.
So Newmarket's obviously just out of the city. You go 5 to 10 minutes south of Newmarket, drive down Great South Road. That's when you hit Ellerslie. So yeah, and we grew up sort of just on the border of Ellerslie, Mount Wellington.
Okay.
So you've got Ellerslie, which is sort of middle to upper class.
Is that close to the prison?
No. Mount
okay.
Eden's on the other side.
Mount
Funny
Eden,
enough,
yeah.
though, I went to Auckland Grammar, which is literally next to the prison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when I tell people that, they get buzzed out.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's
But yeah,
unreal that there's a school right next to the
I
prison,
know,
isn't it?
I
So,
know, I know. And
yeah.
some of the stories I've heard, like even like like when I was at school, some of the stories I heard, you're like shit.
Mm.
Heard stories of kids that had family in the prison, getting McDonald's and chucking McDonald's over the over the fence.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Unreal.
prisoners can get it. It's pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Far out. But yeah, nah. Back to the other question. So yeah, So like we grew up just on the border of Ellerslie, Mount Wellington.
Mm.
So Mount Wellington's sort of more industrial, working class, if you want
Okay,
to
yeah.
put it. So we're
Yeah.
sort of just on that borderline.
Mm.
So yeah,
Nice.
don't know if you'd say we're from a working class family or a middle class family. It's sort of
Yeah.
hard to tell,
Yeah.
but
I'm sure we'll
yeah,
get into that.
yeah.
So you work in the disability sector.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your job, and what are the challenges you might have with that?
Yeah, look, so I'm a support worker, and I specifically work with, as you say, people with disabilities. So I'm at a residential house,
Mm.
and I support 5 men at the
Yeah.
house. So they're all flatmates.
Yeah.
And basically, my job is, I go into the house and I just support these guys with whatever they need support with. So
Mm.
basically, help them gain independent skills. You know, say if they want to go out and do activities, we take them out. If
Mm.
they need some help to go to the bank, we take them to the bank, shopping,
Mm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I've
And
seen you buzzing around in the
yeah,
little
yeah,
wagon.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've got the company car there, the little wee blue caddy.
Mm.
Mine is not that little; can fit quite a few people in there, and it's
Mm.
also got the wheelchair access at the back,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's quite
Nice.
sizable. But yeah, take them around in that. But also, if it's a nice day, we walk from the house on Road Street all the way to Caroline Bay to Scenic Reserve.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, basically, my role is just to help these men out.
Mm.
And help them live the best life that they possibly can,
Yeah.
be the
Mm.
best versions of themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's you got to make sure that you're on point with yourself when you're doing that kind of job.
Mm.
So
What sort of challenges do you face from that job?
there's obviously some complexities
Mm.
can be quite challenging. You got to have
Bit of patience,
a
I'd
bit
say.
of patience.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. Patience is key, and you sort of like you pick up on it as time goes by. You get better with your
Yeah.
patience.
I guess you'd pick up little traits that they have as well,
Yeah,
and things
no,
like that. Yeah.
exactly. You do. You feed off their energy, and they feed off yours. So
Mm.
it's a great job, and the guys that I support, like they're a
I guess
bunch of good
sometimes
dudes. They're respectful,
Mm.
and I've got a lot of time for them. So yeah.
I guess sometimes it could be quite fulfilling as well. When
Oh yeah. Well, it's a very some people would say it's a very noble sort of
Mm.
job.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, it is a job, but for me, I look at it as like it's a thing that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And how does that saying go? If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, sort of thing. So I'm sort of at that stage
Mm.
of my career that I'm doing something that I love,
Cool.
and would love to eventually move up to more sort of managerial
Mm.
sort of position. But
Yeah.
for now, I'm quite happy where I'm at, just being in the front line.
Nice.
Really getting into the action.
So home life, bro. Let's dive into that a little bit. I understand you got a young man at home,
Yes.
and you got a little one on the way.
Yes.
Yeah. How's that?
Yeah, no, it's exciting times. As we touched on before, we're doing the antenatal classes, me and my partner Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
We've got another 3 weeks to go, and we're learning a lot
Yeah.
in these classes. It's a real eye opener.
Yeah, I was actually really interested because me and my wife, we never did any of that, like
Yeah.
antenatal classes. So I was actually quite interested in what you sort of learn there. Like I don't really know.
Oh, yeah. No, look. What I do like about the class is, so before going, before going to the classes, especially like when you're a first time dad, like you have all these things going on in your head, like am I supposed to know this? Am I supposed to do that? You have a lot going on in your mind, and then when you meet the other fathers to be, at the class, like because all of them are first time fathers as well. They're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
They're all asking the same questions that I'm asking. They're
Mm.
all having the same thoughts as I'm having. and it's quite, it's actually quite a nice feeling to know that,
Yeah, a bit
you're not the only
refreshing.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit refreshing. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I'm taking a lot in, and you know, sort of, playing catch up because this is obviously my partner's second
Mm.
child that's coming. So, she says it's not her first rodeo, but it is
Yeah,
mine. So
yeah.
it's yeah.
And how you finding it raising young men as well?
Oh yeah. Look, when I first got with Cindy, I knew what the challenges were going to be, and it's been an interesting journey.
Mm.
But I love that little man to bits, Ryan. He's becoming more of a young man as the days go by, and the sass levels are going up there as well too.
Yeah.
So you just
Oh, just wait, he's getting
yeah,
teenage years.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's he's just brewing up. He's just brewing
Yeah,
up. But
yeah.
yeah, no, it's
I see he's
no,
got
I
a bit
love
of a
that sort.
soccer boot on him as
Oh
well.
yeah. Nah. Well, he's actually got a tournament. He's going to a tournament up in Rolleston or Christchurch this Friday. So it's going to be happening over the weekend.
Nice.
So him, and two other players from his team. He plays for Timaru City under 11s. Him and two other boys were selected for this group to go up to Christchurch. So it's sort of like a South Canterbury, Timaru City sort of under 13 team.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
Nice.
they're going to be heading up there on the Friday morning. So they leave. So Cindy and Ryan leave Timaru 6 in the morning, and then their first Ryan's first game kicks off at 9. So they don't have much time to
Shucks,
obviously
that's right,
get ready. Yeah. But
So
hopefully it goes
he'll be
well.
up there and kitting up and
Absolutely.
getting straight into it.
Mate, he's getting itchy feet now.
Yeah, I bet you he'll be frothing at it.
I was going to say
get
before coming here tonight, he was cleaning his boots. His shin pads are being soaked.
Nice.
He's got a little checklist of what he needs to take to go up there. So he's ready. He's ready.
Nice.
He could play right now as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
So now, becoming a new dad, bro, do you have any advice for any new fathers out there that are sort of taking this on?
Mate, to be honest, I don't know. As far as advice goes, I mean, I'm learning. I mean, for me, it's just listen to your partner. Be relaxed.
Yeah.
Especially with me, like with Cindy, it's her second child, and although pregnancy has been quite tough,
Yeah.
she knows what to expect, so I'm trying to feed that same energy from her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just try to be relaxed. Try to be.
It's a happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. Yep. That's it. That's definitely the way to look at it. So I'm trying to look at it that way. But yeah, as far as advice go, no, I don't have too much, to be honest. I'm sort of like, I'm asking for other people for advice.
Yeah.
I'm on that boat, so I'm asking you guys for advice. At the men's group. I'm getting any little bit of advice.
To be honest, when we had our firstborn, I was very paranoid. My wife will tell you this.
Yeah.
Like he'd be asleep. I'd be checking on him every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was my firstborn.
Yeah.
And he was just magnificent.
Yeah.
I'm not being biased or anything here, but he was magnificent.
Yeah. Now, you know what? I think I'll be that. I think I'll be that kind of father though too. To be honest, I'll be the paranoid one. For at least the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Is the baby sleeping?
Yeah, I was like rocking in, like holding my finger under his nose, like he's breathing.
He's breathing.
It's good.
Yeah. You have one eye open while you sleep.
Yeah.
Is that the baby crying? No, that's just the dog.
But it was much to my own demise because, like, he'd start getting used to me, like, holding him to go to sleep, so that sort of, that sort of backfired on me a little bit.
Yeah. Nah. Lots to look forward to.
Yeah, lots to look forward to, bro.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, sleep deprivation's definitely going
to
be one thing.
First 3 years are it's amazing. It's that's when they're doing all the real cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really really cool to see.
Yeah.
The first steps, the first words, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So Timaru, what do you like about Timaru? What do you like living in Timaru?
Oh, look. So, I think another reason why we decided on Timaru was just the lifestyle.
Mm,
You know, it's the good thing about this place is, you know, everything's just so close.
mm,
You know, you're like wherever you are in Timaru, you're 2 minutes away from Caroline Bay. You're
yep,
2 minutes away from the water.
yep,
You're, you know, 5 minute drive and you're out in the country. You're half an hour from mountains, from, you know, bushwalks. You know, you've got a lot of access to the great
mm,
outdoors. And, excuse me, you know, for a, you know, for a place like Timaru, that, you know, it's a good place to raise kids, I reckon. I
mm.
mean,
Oh yeah.
Ryan's thriving
Mm,
in this town. He's, you know, like when we first came down here, we were a bit unsure as to how he would settle in Timaru, because he was only about 7 or 8 when we moved down here, which is what, 3 years ago. He's almost 11 now.
yeah.
So yeah, you know, we weren't too sure at the start, but you know, his first day at Wamataitai, he made a friend, and then I think by the end of that week, he had at least half a dozen of friends. So
Nice,
you know,
nice.
he settled in really well, and as time went by, he got into sports.
What's that thing too?
Constantly,
It's like the
yeah,
new kid on the block. You
exactly,
know
the
what I
new
mean?
kid on the
He's the new
block.
kid
You
on
know,
the block.
he's the city kid. You
That's
know,
right.
and he's
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all
yeah,
these
yeah.
country boys.
What's
So
Auckland like?
exactly. You know,
Yeah,
exactly. Have you been to the Sky Tower?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, nah. So and um, another thing about Timaru as well is, although I was born and raised in Auckland, like both sides of my family are originally from here.
Mm.
So coming down here, it's sort of like home away from home.
Yeah,
You know,
it's coming back
like
to your whenua, really, isn't it?
exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
hundred
that's
percent,
right.
100%.
Yeah.
So
The thing is about Timaru as well is that we take it really for granted, but just how beautiful it is.
oh, 100%.
Like, and it's not until you sort of like I've had family come down from up north, and we sort of drive them over the Bay Hill there,
Yeah,
and they're just sort of like in awe of that whole backdrop.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. The Southern
you've got the
Alps, and you got
Southern
the
Alps, and
beach
yeah, that's
there.
right. You've got all of that in that one
I know,
landscape. Just in the
I
windscreen. You
know,
know what I mean?
I know.
And
It's
yeah,
almost like a painting, though, isn't
that's
it?
right.
Like it's
It
just the
exactly is.
perfect portrait right there.
But we just sort of like
No,
it's
it's
there.
there. Yeah.
It's there every day. We
Who
see that
cares
all the
about it?
time.
Yeah, no, we definitely take it for granted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, you know, when we first came down here, we were like, far out, that's amazing, but we're just like used to it now. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's an awesome little wee town. People
Mm,
are friendly. It's easy to make friends. Uh, you know, everyone's just so welcoming.
mm,
You know, our first 6 months of being here, I'll be honest, it was a bit hard to get to know people, because I thought, you know, people was just sort of like in their own little clicky way, like their own little wee groups.
mm.
But you just sort of got to, you know, get yourself out there and, you
Yep.
know, make the time and effort to meet new people and
Yeah.
join groups. And I think the men's group
Come
was
to the
been,
men's group. That's
I was
right.
going to say that was an eye opener.
Mm,
So yeah, that's really helped with my social life
yeah.
down here, because if I wasn't socializing, I'd just be working non-stop.
Mm,
And you know, my partner will tell you that I'm a workaholic, and that's very true. So
mm.
you know, got to have that, you know, good balance of work life. You know, what work-life balance. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah, no, it's
and just on that, Timaru's actually really good for work-life balance.
Mm,
I find, compared to, you know, being in a bigger city.
yeah,
You know, management here. You know, my manager, and you know, she's awesome. You know, she's very much big on work-life balance. You know, don't take your work home kind of thing.
mm,
So you know, that really helps too.
yeah,
And I
that's good.
notice that's very much a thing down here.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
So
man.
after living in Timaru for a little bit, um, how do you think that this? How do you think Timaru could improve as a community?
Hmm. I think it you know, it already is a real tight knit community.
Mm,
Um, Personally, you know, I did say this is a great place to raise kids, and it is.
mm,
You know, as far as like the outdoors goes, and you know what's out there for
mm,
kids to do, sports and what have you. But I think maybe more sort of other things to do for kids, like, you know, another Tempin bowling
mm,
alley, you know,
mm,
maybe another YMCA gym, you know, something that sort of, you know, sort of like a holiday program sort of
mm.
thing, you know?
Yeah, well, because I used to have the Temple Bowling over just on the other side of BP there.
Yeah,
They used
yeah,
to have a Temple Bowling over there, but I think and that was even before I got here. That's like 16 years ago.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, no, I think you're right. Like it definitely needs something more for the young people.
yeah, yeah,
I noticed they have the youth. centre here on St
Yeah,
George
yeah,
Street,
yeah, yeah. They
which
got
is
that,
good. You know, that's good.
which is good. But maybe a couple more of those
Yeah,
would
that's
be
right.
handy. But
Yep.
I mean, again, Timaru is only a small town. You know,
Yep.
they can only cater for so many.
Yeah.
So.
And South Zealandia is coming up.
And
So.
South Zealandia is coming up. Yeah, I think once this place is, well, it already is up and running, but I think once it gets more sort of ground covered with, the more people know about it, the more people come in, it's going to definitely be there's definitely going to be a little wee community here, and that will help. That will help because I think there are a lot of kids here that probably aren't into the outdoors as much as others, so this would be a great place for them.
Yeah, that's right.
Just come in here and just feel like they're at home,
Yeah.
in their comfort zone. Yeah.
So one thing I sort of I found out about you by accident.
Yep. Yeah. Accident. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was by accident.
Yeah.
We were out having a couple of beers.
I was. Yeah.
And I found out that your dad was a bit of an actor.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore.
No. Rest in peace.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace, your dad. But your dad was Kevin Smith.
Absolutely.
And he featured in Xena.
Yep.
And so what character did he play in Xena?
So he played Ares, God of War.
Yeah.
So he was sort of on the line. So he was initially the bad guy, but he was sort of the lover of Xena. They sort of had a love-hate relationship. So yeah, he was that sort of character.
He was
sort
also
of jumped,
shorties a little bit.
Yeah. He sort of jumped between the good guy, bad guy when he played Ares, God of War. But that was his main role, and that was the main one that he was remembered for.
Yeah.
So he got a lot of popularity with that character.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, and he tragically passed away in China.
Yep. From my understanding, it was an accident. He fell off a high building. It was quite a few stories tall. Was in a coma for about a week and a half or so. And then, they just, the doctors just said he wasn't going to make it, so they pulled out. Yeah. So that.
So you were quite young when that happened.
I was about, I want to say 10 years old. 10. Yeah. So I was quite young.
Yeah.
And what's buzzy now is, I'm 33, and Dad was only 38 when he passed away. So to think that I'm only going to be there in another few years' time, it's just far out. And to see what he achieved in that short time in this world, you can't help but be proud of him.
Yeah, because we watched. What did we watch? We watched the Gooey Duck, was it?
Oh yeah, Love Muscle.
Love Muscle. That's right. Yeah.
Sort of a mockumentary.
Yeah. And that was funny. That was real good.
Yeah.
And he was in he was in there with some pretty prominent New Zealand actors.
That's right. Yeah. Nah, he was in a lot of serious sort of stuff. So he was in lots of plays. Hercules, Xena, more sort of drama series, but then he could be in those sort of shows that took the piss out of stuff and what have you. So
because I remember him. I remember him in Shortland Street.
Yeah,
and he played a pretty good bad guy.
Yeah,
he played a pretty good bad guy in Shortland Street. So
yeah, for some reason I can't remember that, but Mum did tell me that he was in Shortland Street, but it must have been when it first aired. I would have been just a toddler or something. But I did.
No, he was in it. Yeah, I actually remember. Because I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah, only a little bit. Let's be honest, only a little bit.
Only a little bit,
yeah. But definitely. Even though he's not with us today, I'm very proud of what he's achieved, and I think he was a good bloke.
Yeah,
he was a good bloke.
Nice. Yeah. No, thank you for talking about your dad too, bro. Because it's something that we like. We wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
He's obviously a very prominent figure in your life. So,
it was a very interesting childhood growing up, when he was around. You had obviously, like going to school, you always had kids asking about your dad and asking whether or not, you've been to Disneyland or, does your dad have a Ferrari? Have you been on a jet? Do you fly first class? You get all the random questions.
And it cracked me
you
up
got the
because,
lovers, you got the haters.
It cracked me up because when we watched some of your dad on TV, it was like, man, you are really like him, Mike. You are actually really like him. It's weird, like he's you're very much like him.
Yeah, as far as good looks go, I think he's got one over me, but also too, I think as far as sense of humor and acting goes, he's he's got me on that as well. So a bit to work on. Might need to take up acting classes.
Yeah.
Try and follow in the footsteps. Nah, maybe not. Yeah.
So me and you, we met at the Modern Barbarians men's
Yep.
group,
Yep.
and sort of one of the major topics that we like to cover in the men's group
Mm.
is the mental health.
Yeah. Yeah.
And mental health for men. So how do you take care of your mental health on a day-to-day basis? You know, like feeling a little bit down, you're feeling, down in the dumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do
Oh.
you take care of it?
So look, I think for me, I think what I try to do, and I try to do it as regularly and routinely as possible, is try to find time to um, burn energy. And what I mean by that is, go for runs. I used to be in the fitness industry, so I used to do personal training and everything. So after training clients, I had the luxury of training, like going to the gym, just pumping some weights, and it wasn't really so much to get like a release and feel good physically. It was just the mental aspect.
Mm.
So I still hold on to that, even though
Mm.
I'm no longer in the fitness industry. So that really helped my mental health, and it still does.
Cool.
So just doing something that's gonna exhaust you physically, but really give you some clarity mentally. So yeah, that's what helps me with my mental health. But also too, if I can't get to do that, I think I like to go out for walks. I'm fortunate that where we live, we're just across the road from the gardens, so just hop over to the gardens and have a walk around there. Take the dog for a walk.
And there's a lot of good walks
And
around here.
there
Timaru.
is,
There is real good ones.
and that's what helps with me clearing my head mentally. Is, if I've had a hard day, at work or at home, and things aren't going too well for me, I like to just sort of you know get out into the fresh air and not be around people.
Yeah.
Or for a short time.
For a short time.
For a short time. Yeah. But that's that's a big one for me, and I think if men, well, not just men, but just people in general, if they could just sort of experience that more, I think their mental health would become better.
Yeah. That's the good thing about the men's group too, is that we're slowly starting to build that support network around.
Oh
everyone,
yeah, massively.
And it's become such a really good thing. Building that camaraderie with everyone.
100%.
And like I said to you guys before, um, having the format of the group is having the format of the group, but being able to do these things outside of that format of the group as well is really important to everyone's mental health, and building that trust with one another as well.
Yeah, and I think what I like about the men's group, and what excites me about it, is that even though we catch up every Monday, that's just touching the surface.
Yep.
I mean, from there you make the connections with the men, like with the other guys that are at the group, and if it's the middle of the week and you're down in the dumps, you're always a message away. Solly's always a message away, or John, or whoever else. So we can always catch up for a beer, or go for a coffee.
We have some
or go for
great
a walk.
guys in the men's
Exactly,
group.
exactly.
Great guys.
So like you've got those networks, you've got those connections, and that's what really makes it even better. Is that it's not just a Monday night thing. It can can turn into a 24/7 thing. Because you've got good dudes around you that are happy to listen to you. Have a vent. Vice versa.
Well, it's quite funny because a wee while ago, my wife said to me, she's like, "You need to go make some friends, because you're hanging."
Sort of like what my partner said too.
Yeah. You're hanging around here too much,
Exactly what my
go make some friends, right? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm approaching 40. Like, I don't really want to make any new friends. You know what I mean? Like, well, that's what I thought. You know? And I thought, no, look, I need to do this. I need to go out and make some friends.
Yeah.
And the men's group was a perfect way to do that.
Oh, bro.
It was a perfect way to do that.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, we started off across the road there, like 4 guys. It was 4 of us in that little shop. And we just kept building it. Now, I'm up to about 13, 14 guys.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really good, and it's really beneficial.
Yeah. And ever since I've been in the group, which is about a couple of months ago now, like I've seen the growth. We've gone from that small room at the back there that could only fit about 10 at max, and now we're almost filling up the similar room up top.
That's
and it's
right.
Just it's It's real pleasing to see.
And it is, like you say, it is good to see the progress in the guys
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
You know, we get some guys that come in and they're sort of real withdrawn and held back, and then within a few 2 or 3 weeks, they're sort of
they start
really
to open
starting to
up.
come out of their shell,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's amazing to see. That's
yeah,
really great to see,
yeah. And it's all about breaking barriers, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Like those barriers of
That's
just
right.
keeping everything in and just, thinking, oh, I'm a man, I can't express my feelings, 'cause
Yeah.
it makes it look like I'm weak, just sort of breaking that stigma.
Mm, mm,
That's what it's all about. And
yeah, that's right.
I feel that's what's really helped a lot of the men that come to the
Mm,
group. You can see it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see, man. I
Mm,
love it, and I'll keep going to it for as long as it goes.
yeah. Yeah. Well, like me and Solly were just talking like earlier that potentially we need to
Yeah,
putting in two groups because
yeah,
it's starting to get quite big.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
potentially we're going to have to whack in another night there at
yeah,
some
yeah.
stage.
Because I was going to say, if you get over 20 blokes coming every Monday night, then you're going to, instead of an hour and a half
Yeah.
meeting, you're going to go more for like two and a
The
half,
other
three
thing too.
hours.
The other thing too, I
We usually go
find.
for 2 hours anyway,
Yeah,
don't we?
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
All that banter talk at the end.
The thing I find too is that if the group sort of gets too big, that's when you sort of lose that intimacy between the conversation.
100%, yeah.
And that's where guys sort of feel like the group's too big, where I can't sort of say anything, I can't sort of
Yeah,
talk,
yeah,
be a part of that open
yeah,
conversation. So that's sort of another reason why we're looking at maybe downsizing and going to two groups,
yeah,
so that
yeah.
it's it keeps that level of intimacy between the
Exactly,
conversation.
exactly. Yeah, and I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Yeah, lowering those numbers, but also trying to get as many
Mm.
blokes into it as possible. Because I
Well,
think it's a yeah,
yeah, the thing is that you sort of want every guy that turns up to feel like they're a part of the conversation,
mm,
to feel
mm,
like they can be a part of the discussion that we're having,
mm,
and that's when your group sort of gets too big, they sort of find, okay,
yeah,
because you got your introvert guys, you got your extrovert guys,
yeah,
so it's you know making sure that everyone can be a part of that discussion is
exactly,
really important.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because the more guys you get in there, the high chance that you're going to have someone in there that's going to be overwhelmed and,
yeah,
like you
that's right,
said, just won't
100%,
have their say or feel like they won't have their say.
hundred
Because
percent. So how do you find your work life balance here, bro, in Timaru?
great,
Yep.
great. Yeah, no, work-life balance down here is awesome.
Compared to Auckland,
Oh,
like it's
100 times better compared to Auckland.
mm,
Like up in Auckland, I was in the same line of work there, than what I was doing. So I was in the same line of work there, than what I'm doing down here now. But I was doing a lot more hours, getting paid less because I hadn't got all my levels, all my quals up to
mm,
scratch. So I was level one in Auckland, so like level one pays sort of just above minimum wage,
mm,
and I had to do a few assessments, a bit of study to work my way up to level four, and I managed to get to level four just before I came down here.
yeah,
So I was working long hours, crap pay, and barely seen Cindy and Ryan. Because I was doing a lot of night shifts, so like sleepover shifts, and so sort of like change of hours. So like I'd work in the morning from like 6 a.m. to 10, and then back again from 4 p.m. to 8. So during that time,
jeez,
Ryan was at school, and I barely saw him, Cindy. So
mm,
I'd go from like Monday to Wednesday without seeing them.
jeez,
Yeah,
yeah,
so like the work-life balance up there wasn't that great. So I come down here, and it's everything. It's almost the main sort of focus is making sure you have a good work-life balance. Like I said, my management are great. They're very big on that,
yeah, that's
very
cool.
big on that balance. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
The thing is too,
and that's what helps with mental health too. Yeah,
I think in your line of work too, you wouldn't want someone that's sort of too strung out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You need to be able to keep that. Oh, I don't know what you said. That sort of resilience about you.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
And it's funny, like just going on about mental health before, like, you need to make sure that, your mental health is on point, and, you need to make sure, you got a clear head,
Mm,
like when you walk into that door and, start your shift.
yeah.
And, when you leave that door to finish your shift, you leave the work there, and, you go home and you're on, family mode.
Mm,
So it's
Yep.
important to have those sort of boundaries.
To be able to leave your work at work.
100%,
Yep.
100%. I wasn't able to do that up home, so
Mm.
to be able to do it here is just a breath of fresh air. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's good, man.
That's awesome. All right, so we're at the part of the podcast where we do some quick fire questions.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Okay, so I like to ask all my guests 10 quick fire questions, and
Okay.
it's nothing too strenuous. All right, it's
Yeah,
just sort of
yeah.
the first thing that comes to mind, and it's just a way of sort of getting to know our guests a little bit better
Yeah,
as
sure.
well. You know, just asking some random questions. You know.
Yeah.
So
fire away. Let's
All
do
right. Question 1. Would you rather travel to the past or the future?
it. Future.
The future?
Yep, yep.
What do you reckon?
Oh, just, you know, not too sure.
Mm,
I just think the future, you know, like you don't want to dwell on the past too much.
Yep.
You know, you want to focus on the future. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'd love to see where I'm at in 10 years' time, and especially with the little one due in January, you know, see how quick he grows up over the years.
I always thought
Yeah.
I'd like to take some lotto numbers back, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, now that you mention it,
You know, maybe
yeah,
even just
exactly.
3 or 4 weeks, you know, when that 40 million was happening,
That's
you know.
it.
Take some lotto numbers back to the past, you know.
Far out.
What is the weirdest thing your pet does?
Oh man, I don't think I can say it on camera. He's a very eccentric sort of character, old Buddy, our dog.
'Cause what sort of dog have you got?
He's a golden lab, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, you know what labs are like.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just they're absolute muppets.
Yeah.
Absolute muppets.
They're very lovable kind of dogs, that way.
Yeah, and on the other side they can drive you insane too.
Yeah.
So you know they're always teetering on that edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you wish you had learned sooner?
Cooking. I wish
Cooking?
I learnt how to cook sooner. I mean, my early 20s, it was just baked beans on toast, 2-minute noodles
Yeah.
most nights,
Yeah.
you know. And then on nights that I did get a good meal, it was, you know, usually I went down to see my mum. So,
Yeah.
because she only lived down the road from
Yeah.
me. But the past few years, I've picked up a good habit of, you know, challenging myself with certain meals. So I try to, you know, make a spag bowl, mac and
Nice.
cheese.
Yeah.
I made a mean mac and cheese tonight, actually, before
Nice.
coming here.
Yeah, nice.
You know, I have been critiqued on my cheese sauce when it comes to the mac and cheese, so I'm
Yep.
forever trying to improve on that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, our 16-year-old, because, like, you know, I grew up in a household with, like, just a solo mum.
Yeah.
And she, you know, she was a really big cook. She always cooked all the time. You know,
Yeah.
I learned a lot of cooking, how to cook from her, as you can tell. But you know, she taught me how to cook really, like, quite early, and so we've sort of tried to do the same with our kids.
Yeah.
You know, and Mr. 16, man, he is a gun at the mac and cheese.
Nice.
He does
nice,
a dime mac and
nice.
cheese. You know,
Yeah.
I sort of taught him how to get the cheese sauce down and that,
Yeah.
and he's got it.
He's got it on point.
He's got it.
That's it. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's it is a good thing to sort of teach those kids how to cook
Yeah.
quite early.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
because you don't want them on the baked beans and toast.
No, God, no. Yeah, I need to get Ryan in the, you know, like in the kitchen soon cooking. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd make a good spy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could. Yeah.
Have you watched enough movies to think you could be a
Yeah,
good spy?
yep. Spy Kids,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that was the movie growing up, and then, you know,
Yeah.
you move on to the more serious movies. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, no, I think I'd make a good spy.
I mean, I always loved a good James Bond movie.
Oh, yeah, James Bond.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like, I sort of come up in the Pierce Brosnan era, so he was
okay,
when he was James Bond, you know. So
See, I was more Daniel Craig, eh?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like he was the more sort of rugged Bond. you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Had the more sort of rugged sort of features to him. You
I
know?
think the thing about Craig, the thing I didn't like about Daniel Craig though is that he sort of lost the humor.
Yeah,
You know, there was that little, you know,
Yeah.
when Pierce was the James Bond, he was sort of
sophisticated,
but he brought a little bit of humor to it as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
and now Daniel Craig was just real serious. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
serious Bond.
Yeah, no, I'd be the serious spy, that's for sure. Yeah. I think you'd be the smooth operator, wouldn't you, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, shaking not stirring.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Larissa would agree with that, eh? Oh man.
What's your dream car?
Mustang.
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 Yeah.
Yep. Black Mustang.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dream car. So again,
It's funny. You might have seen just up the road from you, one of our guys at work. He owns a Mustang.
I think
A yellow one?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, old Gary?
I've
Yeah.
seen that around town. Yep.
That's old Gazza. He owns it, and it was actually one of our wedding cars.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so we had him as one of our wedding cars. So
Yeah.
what we did was we had a car for the groomsmen,
Yeah.
and then we had a car for the bride and her dad.
Yeah.
And then what we did was we got a sports car for each kid.
Okay.
So each one of our boys had their own sports car to turn up to the wedding in.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah, so we had a Mustang, we had a Camaro, and the boy wanted a drift like Sylvia, Nissan Sylvia. So,
of course.
So we had all these sports cars at the wedding, and it was quite funny because we got married up on the piazza, and like we sort of turned up, and then all these sports cars come racing up the Bay Hill to drop the boys off as well, and they just thought they were the cat's whiskers, getting out of these cars,
absolutely,
they
mate.
just thought they were the absolute cat's whiskers, man, getting out of these cars.
Kids in a candy shop, man.
Oh, yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
No, mate, you can't beat that sort of feeling, eh?
But I mean, made for great photos as well.
Absolutely,
The photos were great.
Bloody hell.
So, yeah. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh man. You said these were quick fire questions, man. I've got to think about these ones. But no. If I had a superpower, be invisible.
I somehow knew you were going to say that.
Be invisible, you know. Yeah, I think invisibility would be a pretty
but you'd
superpower.
want it on tap too. You'd want it on demand.
Tap, yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's it.
You don't want to be invisible all the time.
No, exactly.
Because those you notice in like movies when the guys are invisible all the time, they're sort of plagued by it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like guys got to walk around naked all the time. Just can't put clothes on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good movie. Yeah. Nah. Yeah, invisibility. I was gonna say super strength, but that's overrated.
Yeah.
Most guys would say that super strength.
Yeah, and you just end up lifting things for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, actually, have you? This is gonna sound silly. Have you seen that movie What Women Think with Mel Gibson?
I have, yeah.
So you can. Or is it What Women Want? What Women Think? Yeah, What Women Want. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love that superpower.
Yeah, that would
just to see what women are thinking.
Yeah, that would be quite good.
Because that's forever.
I don't know though. Yeah, being inside the head of a woman. I don't know.
I think it'd drive you crazy.
All right. Who was your childhood crush? I mean,
Katie,
celebrity or not celebrity?
Yeah. Oh no, celebrity. I was gonna say, growing up, all my crushes at school, they didn't like me. So,
What, Kevin Smith's son?
I know,
Really?
I know. I thought that would get me over the line, but it didn't.
My dad's an actor.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, it didn't get me over the line, that one. But as far as celebrity crush goes, I was into Dawson's Creek, and I had a massive crush on Joey.
Yeah,
So
Katie
Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie Holmes played Joey. So massive. Yeah, I had a massive crush on her. Used to get a lot of crap from everyone about that. Yeah. Especially my godfather. If he's going to watch this, he'll be pissing himself laughing. He will. It was very much yeah.
And then Tom Cruise whisked her away to Scientology.
Oh, mate, I think he made things worse for her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's when I got put off. But
favorite roast of the day?
It's quite expensive to get, but roast lamb.
Yeah.
Roast lamb.
Lamb is.
Yeah.
I
quite like a roast lamb. Cut it up and then put it into like rolls with gravy and cheese.
Yeah.
Probably not the real. Probably not the.
Not the traditional.
Not
roast.
the traditional way. Yep. But roast lamb for sure. Roast pork though.
Oh yeah.
I've got
crackling,
roast pork. Absolutely.
Crackling is a very serious subject in my family.
Absolutely.
Very serious.
Yeah.
There have been hour-long conversations about it.
I know.
And not the roast pork bit.
Yeah.
The crackle bit.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Um,
it's the same thing in my house too.
Yeah.
Like, the roast pork will be cooked, but then the crackling will need some time, and
Mm.
it's like, like that crackling needs to be cooked before we, before
That's
we
right.
dig in. It's
Yeah, I think I was up north one time, and like me and my cousins were sitting around after Christmas dinner. Like we were talking about crackle. This is it's a very very serious subject between me and my cousins. We're talking away there, and I think one of their wives sort of turned around. All you fellas do is talk about crackle, and we sort of looked at her like, what? Like,
What's wrong with you?
get out of here.
Crackle's life, man.
Yeah,
Far out.
crackle was life.
Ah, yeah.
That's right. Um, One movie that makes you cry.
Oh, it's funny it's funny you ask that. A couple of weeks ago, we were watching Titanic at home,
Oh,
and it didn't make me cry that time, but I remember the first time watching it, because I've watched it a couple of times. The first time watching it, it made me cry, especially that ending scene.
I,
When you've got all those bodies in the water, and Leonardo's,
yeah,
sinking away. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It brought a bit of tears to
And
my
there was
eyes.
more than enough room on that door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no,
That's it.
she just let him slip off into the water.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I actually saw a TikTok not that long ago, and they've got a museum. I think they've got a Titanic museum overseas somewhere,
Yeah,
and you can go in and like put your hand in some water
yeah.
that was the same temperature as what the water was
Oh,
that night in the sea.
bro.
And like I worked it out, like they talked about it on screen, like it was in Fahrenheit, something I think it was like 30 something degrees Fahrenheit. So I sort of had to Google what it was in Celsius, and it's like -2.
Oh, God.
It's like -2 degrees. So like, and like people were like putting their hands in, they could only keep it in there for like a couple of seconds, and then you
Yeah,
had to pull it out.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was the temperature of the water that these people had to endure
Oh,
when the
man.
Titanic sunk. It's crazy.
Yeah, nah, bro. That was a hard movie to watch. Another one that I found quite hard to watch. Didn't make me cry, but made me, get close to it, was Hotel Rwanda.
Oh, okay.
That movie about that civil war, back in the early 90s. That
Mm.
was quite sad. Powerful movie,
Yeah,
powerful story, but yeah, that made me
yeah.
nearly have a tear in my eye.
I think I'd have to look at that. I haven't
Yeah,
actually seen that movie.
yeah.
Last question. One place in the world you would want to travel?
Yeah, so I've already been to this place before. Is Mykonos in Greece, the Greek islands. Beautiful place.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. It's sort of like party island, so it's where a lot of the uni students from Europe go to party and have a good time. Even the Yanks, or the Americans, should I say, go there for their summer break parties and
So is
stuff.
that the place with like the white? It's like the white buildings with the blue roofs.
So that's Santorini, but Mykonos is very similar. So
Okay.
like they have the same sort of
Yep.
buildings and infrastructure, as Santorini. So yeah, very similar. Lindsay Lohan made a series about running a nightclub, I think, in Mykonos. So if you watch that show, it really
Yeah.
gives you a real insight as to what
Yeah, I've
it's
heard
like.
the nightlife is full on in
Oh,
Greece.
it is. It
Yeah.
is, especially in the Greek islands.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a fancy version of Bali in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
Because you did a bit of like of a tour of like Europe, didn't you?
yeah. So a few years back, I went around Europe for 6 weeks. We managed to get through about 17, 18 different countries.
Wow.
But the country that we were in for the longest amount of time was Greece. And honestly, I would have been happy to just stay there for the whole 6 weeks.
Oh, really?
Oh, mate, the culture, the food. Packed on a few kilos while I was there, because all you do is just drink beer and have those euros, so sort of like those Greek kebabs.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a fancy chip buddy. So you have like your bread and butter and chips here. Over there, you've got your meats, you've got your salads, you've got your oils, and then you dip your fried chips in there, and it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's divine. It's divine. So.
And the ouzo?
Oh yes, yeah, that's a good preload before going to the nightclubs. So yeah, the ouzo's good. Mykonos. Mykonos for the win. Mykonos for the win. Yep. I'd like to go to South Africa, where Cindy's originally from.
Yeah.
But
It's quite dangerous.
Yeah, quite dangerous. So yeah, we might need to work on that one.
Yeah. When we went up north one time, I've got an auntie that lives in Wellington, and she's basically travelled the entire world. She's been to so many countries, and
Yeah.
like Lewis was just sort of fascinated by all these places that she'd been in. He was sort of trying to prat off names of countries she hadn't been to.
Yeah.
And she said, look, one of the countries I haven't been to is South Africa.
Yeah.
She said, because it is quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had friends here that moved over from South Africa.
Yeah.
And they got their stuff and moved over in a container.
Yeah.
And we went into their house and like this fridge had a lock built into the door handle.
Wow.
Like it was like a lock and key, and like not like a padlock or anything like that. No, this was flushed into the door lock. And I was like, well, why do you have a door lock on them? They said, well, if you don't have that, like people will just break in and rob all your food. They just take all your food. So you got to lock your fridge every time you go to bed or when you go out or anything like that.
Nice.
But it was just amazing to see this fridge with like an actual like lock and key on it. Like it was
very
great.
interesting. I was going to say he probably hangs on to that lock so his missus doesn't grab the mac and cheese in the middle of the night or something like that.
Right, yeah, no, it's crazy.
I'd keep the lock on.
And like they were really fortunate that like because they had little girls.
Yeah.
And that, like they could let the girls play outside.
Yeah.
Because they sit over there. It's just so dangerous for
well, like
girls over there.
I mean, over time I've met a few people that originally come from South Africa, and for them coming over here, it's just a totally different world. Like they don't have to lock their cars, they don't have to carry firearms. They don't have to stress about putting bars up, over their windows. It's just like they don't feel like they're in a prison. Full stop.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
Probably explains why there's so many in Timaru though too.
Yeah, that's right. There is a big
just
society of them. Yeah.
There is. It's just a big community, and they're real tight knit community too. I've noticed. So
yeah,
nah.
Does your partner have like the South African accent?
No, she doesn't. She's becoming more and more Kiwi, but that's weird. I don't think she's like. For me, I think she's got a Kiwi accent. But for other people, other New Zealanders, they know that she's from another country, but they have to ask.
Yeah.
So she's lost that South African accent, but she doesn't sound Kiwi. So it's kind of strange. To me, she sounds Kiwi, but to others, no, she's got a bit of an accent to her. But it's funny, like growing up in Auckland, especially if I went down, say, South Auckland or West Auckland. They would often ask me if I'm from England.
Oh.
Because, I had quite a clear voice, apparently.
Yeah.
So that was quite interesting. So it's interesting how people pick up on accents. But no, look, Cindy she has a regular Kiwi accent, but her parents have quite strong South African accents. But I can still understand them, though. That's
quite funny because when we were talking to Wayne Knight, like, he's from England.
Is that right?
Like, he's literally from England. But when you talk to him, you would never think he was from England. You'd think he's from here.
Yeah,
like, he's got a very Kiwi accent.
Yeah,
But he's originally from England.
There you go.
Yeah, so,
there you go. My mum's the same, originally from England, but she's been in New Zealand pretty much all her life now, so she's got the Kiwi accent.
So obviously it can be weeded out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, thank you, bro. No, thank you for joining us.
Man, it's been awesome.
And it's been an honour to have you in our second show and our first show in the studio. So it's what do you think of the space?
Here. Oh, honestly, I walked in here and it was just so soothing, mate. Very therapeutic. So you and Larissa did a great job in here, mate.
It's good.
I could sit here for hours, man, and just talk away.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Oscar, and thank you for being with us today on our second show.
Cheers, mate.
All
Thank
good,
you. Cheers.